Good morning, children. In today's class, we are going to continue the learning of the lesson Periodic Classification of Elements. The topics we are going to learn today are amalgam, alloys, corrosion, types of corrosion, and methods to prevent corrosion. Okay, children. Amalgam, alloys, corrosion, types of corrosion, and methods to prevent corrosion. So these are the topics we are going to learn today. Let us learn one by one. The first one is amalgam. What is an amalgam? It is a mixture of any metal with mercury. Any metal with mercury is called as amalgam. The main application of amalgam is it is useful in dental filling. Silver tin amalgam is used in dental filling. Silver metal, tin metal and mercury, when they are combined, that combination is called as silver tin amalgam, and it is useful in dental filling by dentists. Okay, children. The next topic is alloys. Amalgam is also a type of alloy. What is an alloy? When a metal is mixed with another metal, it is called as an alloy. Also, when a metal is mixed with other non-metals, it is also called as an alloy. So children, an alloy is a homogeneous mixture of a metal with another metal or a metal with non-metals. So alloy, it is a combination of metals or metal with non-metals. It is a mixture. An alloy is a mixture. Alloy is broadly divided into ferrous alloys and non-ferrous alloys. Ferrous alloys are the alloys which contain iron as one of their constituents. Non-ferrous alloys are the types of alloys which do not contain iron as one of their constituents. Okay, children, so this is an introduction to alloys. Now, coming to types of alloys, we are going to learn about ferrous alloys and non-ferrous alloys. Some examples for ferrous alloys and non-ferrous alloys. See, ferrous alloys example, iron alloys. Non-ferrous alloys examples are copper alloys and aluminium alloys. You are very familiar with the alloys brass and bronze. Brass is a combination of copper and metal zinc, whereas bronze is a combination of metals copper and tin. Brass is useful in the making of mainly medals. Bronze is finding its application in the making of coins and statues. Coins and statues, also bills. So these are the main applications of the alloys brass and bronze. Look at these two alloys, children. Brass and bronze. They are the mixtures, they are the homogeneous mixtures of metals. Brass is a homogeneous mixture of copper and zinc. Copper is also a metal and zinc is also a metal. Bronze, coming to bronze, it is a homogeneous mixture of copper and tin. Copper and tin are metals. Okay, so brass and bronze are non-ferrous alloys because they lack iron in them. They do not contain iron in them, and so they are called as non-ferrous alloys. Coming to the next type of alloys, aluminium alloys. Duralumin and magnesium, they are the main alloys of the metal aluminium. Duralumin, it is a mixture of aluminium, magnesium, manganese and copper. Duralumin. aluminium, manganese, magnesium and also copper. It finds its main application in the making of aircrafts, also pressure cookers. Magnesium, it is a mixture of magnesium and aluminium. Magnesium, MAG, magnesium and aluminium. It is also finding its application in the making of aircrafts, and its main application is in the making of scientific instruments. So scientific instruments are mainly made with the help of aluminium alloy called magnesium. Okay children, so brass, bronze, duralumin and magnesium, they are non-ferrous alloys because they do not contain iron as one of their constituents. Coming to iron alloys or ferrous alloys, stainless steel and nickel steel are examples for iron alloys. Stainless steel, iron, carbon, nickel and chromium are the constituents of stainless steel. Iron, carbon, nickel, chromium. Here, carbon is a non-metal, whereas the other three, iron, nickel and chromium, are metals. Nickel steel, iron, carbon and nickel. Okay children, here there is no chromium. So nickel steel, it is a composition, it is a combination of iron, carbon and nickel. The main application of stainless steel is it is used in the making of utensils and cooking vessels, cutlery items. Also, automobile parts are made with the help of stainless steel. Coming to nickel steel, they are used as propellers. They are used as propellers, used in making aircraft parts. Okay children, so we are having two types of alloys. They are ferrous and non-ferrous alloys. So copper alloys examples, brass and bronze. Aluminium alloys, duralumin and magnesium. Ferrous alloys, stainless steel and nickel steel. See, these are some of the common alloys we are familiar with. Steel. Steel is a combination of steel. It may be stainless steel or nickel steel. If it is a stainless steel, it is a combination of iron, carbon, nickel and chromium. If it is nickel steel, it doesn't contain chromium in it. Okay children. Bronze, copper and tin. Copper and tin, useful in the making of coins and statues. Brass. Brass is a combination of copper and zinc. It is useful in the making of medals and decorative items. Okay children. So these are common alloys we are familiar with. The very familiar alloys. Steel, bronze and brass. Coming to the next one. Coins. We are all fond of coins. These coins are alloys. Usually coins are mixtures of copper and tin and a small amount of zinc. To 1% zinc metal is combined. So children, the coins we use are alloys made up of the metals copper, zinc and tin. Already we saw the main application of the alloy, aluminium alloy. Duralumin is used in the making of aircrafts. Aluminium, magnesium, manganese and copper, they are the ingredients of duralumin. Okay children. The next topic is corrosion. What is corrosion? The surface of a metal is destroyed by some chemical or electrochemical reactions, and that process is called as corrosion. So the destruction of the surface of the metal, the destruction of the metal by its reaction with nature or by some chemical reactions, the surface of the metal, especially the surface of the metal, gets corroded, eroded or destroyed, and that is called as corrosion. Rusting is one of the examples for corrosion. Rusting takes place only in iron metal, not in any other metal. Rusting of iron, we call it as. The chemical formula for rust is Fe2O3 X molecules of water. Fe2O3 X H2O. So what are the main factors that are necessary for rusting? Oxygen, water and iron. If an iron material comes in contact with air and moisture, water, it gets automatically rusted. We know that at anode oxidation takes place and at cathode reduction takes place. Oxidation means loss of electrons and reduction means addition of electrons. So the electrons which are released from anode, they are absorbed by cathode. So here the reaction taking place at anode is oxidation, Fe. The iron metal gets oxidized to Fe2+. And 2 electrons are released. Those electrons are absorbed by the moisture, water, and they get converted to hydroxide ions, OH- ions. As a result, the iron particles, they get rusted, and the chemical formula for rust is Fe2O3 X H2O, ferric oxide, X molecules of water. So this is rusting of iron. Okay, children. Next one is types of corrosion. Types of corrosion, we have got 2 types. The main types are wet corrosion and dry corrosion. Wet corrosion takes place in the presence of water, whereas dry corrosion takes place in the absence of water but in the presence of chemicals. So dry corrosion is also called as electrochemical corrosion, whereas wet corrosion is called as aqueous corrosion because it mainly takes place in the presence of water. So aqua means water. So wet corrosion stands for corrosion that takes place in the presence of water. Wet corrosion takes place at room temperature, whereas dry corrosion takes place at very high temperatures in the presence of chemical substances which contain oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur dioxide. Okay, children. So dry corrosion is also called as electrochemical corrosion or gaseous corrosion because gases are involved in dry corrosion. The gases like oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur dioxide at very high temperatures. So this corrosion is called as dry corrosion. The next one is the preventive measures for corrosion. How to prevent this corrosion? How to prevent these corrosions, wet corrosion and dry corrosion? Alloying. The methods are alloying. Coating the surface of the metal. That may be galvanization, electroplating, anodization or cathodization. Cathodic protection or cathodization. Okay, children. Alloying. What do you mean by alloying? Mixing a metal with another metal or metal with other non-metals. So that is called as alloying. What is the need for alloying? When a metal or non-metal is alloyed, its properties get increased. The alloys are harder than their original metals or non-metals. Alloys have more ductility, more malleability. They are more malleable than their original metals. Alloys have high tensile strength than their original metals or non-metals. So by alloying, the properties of the metals increases, and that's why alloying is needed. So by alloying, corrosion can be prevented. The next one is coating the surface of a metal. That's why in our houses painting is done periodically. Okay, so that our house is maintained. Here, in order to prevent corrosion, we can coat the surface of iron sheets by zinc metal, and this is called as galvanization. Next one is electroplating. Coating the surface of an inferior metal with a superior metal. Coating the surface of iron with silver is called as electroplating. Electroplated watches, electroplated spoons, gold plated watches, gold plated spoons, they are all prepared by the process electroplating. Anodization. Here it is a surface treatment which prevents corrosion. Okay, anodization. Next one, here cathodic protection. The metal which has to be protected from corrosion is coated with a sacrificial metal which easily gets corroded. Usually magnesium. Magnesium is called as a sacrificial metal which easily corrodes, and that is taken as cathode. Okay, children. So this is called as cathodic protection. So these are some of the preventive measures of corrosion. Alloying, coating the surface of metals, that is galvanization, electroplating, anodization, and cathodic protection. I hope you might have understood today's class, children. Thank you, children.